Like, subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos from PHN Learn. For more videos, download our app from the Play Store.
Hello guys, welcome to PHN Technology Private Limited. Today we are going to learn about conditional statements. Now, what are these conditional statements? In coding language, if you want to give certain conditions and you want that after giving those conditions, the coding should give you should make the decision and give you result as per the requirement, then you have to use these conditional statements. Now, these conditional statements are a very important part of coding language because through this conditional statement, you can give the coding the commands. You can make the program to decide what will be executed and what will come as an output. Okay. Now, there are various type of conditional statements in C programming language. Let's see one by one. Firstly, if statement. Okay, now this if statement is, firstly remember these conditional statements gives the value in Boolean expression, that is true or false. It evaluates itself with only using the Boolean expression. Okay, now let's see how it is executed. In case of if statement, what happens is it checks the condition there, and if it is true, then it executes it. Okay, this was the case in if you are using one if. Now, if you are using multiple if, then what is the scenario? Let's take a detailed example of this. Okay, now see, this is my character. Okay, I have given a task to him to go to the market and take the items like firstly tomato, then a packet of milk, and then apples. I have given a task to him that bring these all items from the market. Now see, the boy is going to the market. He stops at the vendor and asks for 1 kg of tomato. Okay, the vendor gives him, and then his first condition is now satisfied. That is, firstly he was going to bring tomatoes, right? First task was that. Now first condition is satisfied. He has taken the tomatoes and then he has proceeded to the milk vendor. Now in the milk vendor, what happens is he asks for 1 liter of milk, but it is not available there. See, it is saying sorry sir, it is not available. So what what he does that his second task was to bring the milk, but it is not available. So what will he now do? He will skip it and he will move forward. Now see, he went to the another vendor to, now his third task is to bring apples, right? Now he is asking for apples. He got the apples there because it was available over there. He put it into the bag and then done. All his 3 tasks are done. But is it properly done? No, because the second task was to bring a packet of milk, but it was not available. So he wasn't able to bring me milk, but he was able to bring me apples and tomatoes, right? Similarly, in if statement also, what happens is, in multiple if statement, what happens is, if the condition is true, it will get executed, right? But if, for example, the Boolean is, the condition is false, that is, the Boolean is evaluated as false, then what will it do? It will skip that particular statement and will proceed for the third one, right? Similarly, as I have showed it, right? He went to the first, he completed the first, but for second task, he wasn't able. So he skipped it. He didn't stop there. He skipped it and he moved forward for the apples, right? So this is how your multiple if statement works. Now let's see an example in my C programming, right? So this is my screen, right? I have already given all the initialization. Now let's see the if statement. Let's take an example program of find the largest number between three numbers. Okay. Now let's take int a is equal to 60. Okay. Then int b is equal to 80. Then int c is equal to 90. Okay. Now let's code this. If then condition here, I will give my condition as a is greater than b and a is greater than c. Then here printf the value of a is greater. Okay. So here the condition I have given, if a is greater than b, and I have used here logical AND. Why? Because a is greater than b. Okay. If this is true, that is a is greater than b, and simultaneously a is greater than c. Okay. If both the conditions are true, then and then only I will get a true statement. Right? That's what I want. That is, if a is greater than both b and c, then it is true and I will get directly the value of a is greater among the three. Right? So therefore I have used logical AND over here because I want both the condition true simultaneously at one time. Okay. Similarly, I will go for b and c. Okay, let's copy this. Paste, again paste. Okay. Then here I will write, I will just change the sign here, that is a is smaller than b, that is b is greater than a, and here I will write b is greater than c. Okay. Then here I will print b. Similarly for c, just write c is greater than b and c is greater than a. Okay. Here write the statement as value of a is greater, c is greater. Save the program. Let's see what will happen in my code is, let's check the code first. What will happen in my code is, firstly it will first check the first if statement. If it is true, then it will consider it, that is it will print it, and then it will move forward for the next one. Okay. Similarly for the second, if it is true, then it will execute it, or else if it is false, then it will skip it and it will move for the third statement. Okay. So let's run this. Okay, the code is already running. Wait. See. Logically I know that c is greater than, because I have already defined it, and by seeing only 60, 80, 90 you already know that what is the greater, right? But through code I have also I have got the value c is greater. That means my code is right. So this was your if statement, right? This was your basically multiple if statement. Okay. Now let's move on to next conditional statement. Then the next one is if else. If else. Now previously I have only worked with if, there wasn't any else, but now the second statement is if else statement. Okay. Now here what happens is, let's see an example to this. Okay. Now for example, this is my 10 rupee note. Okay. Now I have, and this is my friend. Okay, you can see my friend over here. Now I have given this 10 rupee note to my friend. Okay. Now I have, by giving the 10 rupee note, I have requested him that please bring me a KitKat chocolate, and if KitKat is not available, then bring me a Lay's packet, Lay's chips packet. Right? Now he took my 10 rupees and he went. Okay. Now, what happens here is, what instruction I have given, that if the KitKat is not available, then bring me Lay's chips packet, right? But don't come empty-handed. Bring me either KitKat or Lay's chips packet, right? So similarly, in if-else statement also, what happens is, if the condition which is written in the if statement, if it is not true, then it will move on to the else part and it will execute the condition whatever written in the else part. Okay, but here what the condition is, here what the situation is, in either by hook or crook I am getting any of the output, whether it will be the if part or it will be the else part, but I am getting a output. I won't go empty-handed. Similarly, the case was with the KitKat and Lay's packet, that he wasn't, I have given him the instructions so that he wasn't coming empty-handed. He will bring either of them, right? So similarly here also, either the if will execute if it is true, then if the if statement is true, then the loop will get terminated and it will move out of the loop, and only the if statement will get executed and not the else part. Else part will only execute only and only if the if statement is false. Now let's see this if else statement using a proper example. Okay, now we all know for this example that we all know that in India, before you are 18 or you are 18 equal to 18, you are not allowed to give your vote, right? You don't have your voting rights. So that is the condition which we are going to implement through C program, right? Now let's say int is equal to, let's say I have 17 over here, then if condition, okay, condition A is greater than or equal to 18, then printf you are eligible for voting, right? Or else, if the condition is false, then what? Printf new line, you are not eligible for voting, right? So this is my condition. Now let's run this code. Okay, let's see the output. I have given what? A is equal to 17, right? So basically it is not eligible, right? So let's see what will be the condition. See, you are not eligible for voting, right? What happens here is that if what I have given the condition is if A is greater than or equal to 18, okay, then you are eligible for voting. But now I have given A is equal to 17, that means the if statement is not true. It is giving me Boolean expression as false. And as we know from the example of KitKat and chips, that if the if statement is false, then it will go to the else part, right? That's what it is happening here also, right? So this was your if else statement. One more thing, you have noticed that in this program I haven't used any curly braces, right? So why? Because if you are writing in these if else statement or multiple ifs anywhere in conditional statement, if you are giving only one statement, that is only one printf, then you don't have to add curly braces. Okay, if there is only one statement, right? If you are writing multiple printf or multiple statements, then you have to use curly braces. Okay, if at that time if you haven't used, then it will give you an error, right? Now this was your if else part. Now after this, here comes a nested if part. Okay, nested if else part, right? So let's rewind. Okay, now in the previous example I have given that if KitKat is available then bring that, or else if it is not available then bring chips, right? This was my condition. But now I have given my friend a condition that if suppose KitKat chocolate is available, right? If it is available, then with that also bring me a Cadbury. Only when the KitKat chocolate is available, then bring me a Cadbury, right? And if the Cadbury is also not available, then bring me a packet of James. Okay, got this condition? Listen carefully again. See, what it tells us that if the KitKat is available, then and then only, okay, then and then only bring me a Cadbury. And if Cadbury is also not available, then bring me a packet of James. Okay. And suppose if KitKat is not available, KitKat is only not available, then bring me a packet of chips. Right? So this is my nested if part. Okay? That is when you should use this nested if part is when you want to give in condition inside a condition, then you can use this nested if else part. Okay. Now let's see an example, coding example for this condition. Okay. Now I have taken here int a is equal to, let's say 10. Okay. Now I have given a condition that is if a is less than, let's say 5. Sorry, let's greater than 5. Okay, curly braces. Here I want nested, so I have to use curly braces because there we are using more than one statement. Okay, then again, if a is greater than 5, then go to the loop, inside the loop, and if again if a is equal to 0, okay, if a, let's say, greater than or equal to 0, then again printf the value is greater than or equal to 0, right? Else printf the value is not greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Now that I have begun with if, you have to end with else over here because that is what your nested if else is, right? In KitKat case, what was happening? If the KitKat was available, then bring these two items, either of Cadbury or James, right? Similar, or else if KitKat is not only available, then what was he was bringing? He was bringing a chips, packet of chips, right? Now else printf the value is greater than, sorry, less than 5. Okay. Now let's run this code. See, what is it giving? The value is greater than or equal to 0. Where I have printed this statement? See, I have printed it here, right? That means what is happening is I have given a, I have assigned a value of 10, right? Now first it goes to the first statement, right? it goes to the first statement and see that if A is greater than 5, which is true, then it will go inside the loop, that is inside the curly braces. The moment it goes inside the curly braces, what is there? There is again if. It will evaluate that if. What is written there? A is greater than or equal to 0, which is again true. Okay, which is again true. Therefore, it has printed the statement which is inside that if loop. Now, why both of the else is not working? Because the first if statement, that is the main if statement, is working, hence its else is not working. That is but obvious, because we have seen that if statement, if the if statement is true, then there is no need of the else statement. Only if the if statement is false, then and then only there is a need of else statement and the else statement is executed. But here it is not the case. So it goes inside the loop, and again in the loop it happens the same scenario, right? So this is how your nested if statement is working. When will you use these? When you want to give condition inside a condition, right? That if this is available, then go for this, then check for this, and so on, right? So this was your nested if else statement. Now fourthly we have else if statement. Okay. Now this else if statement it works similar to if statement, but the only difference is here. Let's consider again, this is your ifs part and this is your else if part, right? This is your if, this is your else if part. Now what happens here is if part that it skips the statement. For example, we have seen in the animation that he wasn't getting the packet of milk, so it skipped it, but it executed the next part, right? Even if it was false, but the first statement was true, we have seen that it got the tomato, but still it moved on to, that means the statement was true, but still it moved on to the second part, right? That means the loop continues. For example, if you have written 6 multiple if statement, it will see for each and every 6 part, right? And it will see if it is true or false, and it will work accordingly. But in the if else part, what happens is, if for example the first statement gets true, the boolean value which we are getting, which is evaluated, is true. So what will it do? It will move out completely from the loop. It won't execute the second, third, fourth, whatever the order is, whatever the number is, it won't execute that. The moment it got the true statement, it will stop there and it will execute there and it will terminate from the loop. This is the basic difference from if statement and if else if part. Okay. Now let's see through the coding example. Okay. Let's remove these. Okay. Now here I have given A, right? So A is equal to, let's say 60. Okay. Then int B is equal to 90. Then int C is equal to 100. Okay. Now let's say, for example, first condition I have given that A is greater than B. Printf the value of A is greater than B, right? Let's copy this, then paste it. Here I will add, sorry, not here, here I will add else. Okay, else, because this statement is else if, right? Here I will say that let's say B is equal to C, right? The value of B is equal to C. Again paste it. Okay, let's write here else. Then now what will I write? That is C is greater than B. Okay. C is greater than B. Okay. Save this and then let's run this code. See, the last statement is executed, right? Now for a change, let's say I have given this statement here, that is C is greater than B. Okay, let's change here. A is less than B. Okay, change here. A is less than B. Okay, save it. Let's check the output. In the first case, it was directly executing the third one, so it wasn't that appropriate. Now let's check this, because we as a user, I know that my second statement is also true, right? Because A value is 60 and B value is 90. So definitely A is less than B. But my third value is also right, because C is 100 and B is 90. That means the third value is true. Now let's see if it executes both the statement or it only executes the second statement and then terminates the loop. Okay, let's run this part. Now see, it has executed that the value of A is less than B, which is my second statement. But remember, my third statement was also true, but it haven't executed it, right? So this is the basic working of else if statement, right? What happens here is, if my one statement, if it goes to loop, right, it searches from the loop. The moment it hits the true value, it terminates from the loop. It doesn't care how many, after that true value, how many statements are written and what are the values. What are the values which they are evaluating, it is true or false. It doesn't care about that. It stops the moment it hits the true value. Okay. So these were your some conditional statements. Now comes your switch case, which we will learn in the next session. Okay. So for today, this was it. So thank you and goodbye.
For more videos, download our app from the Play Store.